beneath the red planet of doom, beneath the black mountain of Viltheed, a servant of evil stirs. Zordrak, Lord of Nightmares.
So, Captain Krieg, first you failed to complete my whirly bet on time, and then you questioned my plan to capture the Dreamstone.
Sorry, sir. I'm very sorry, sir. I'm very sorry, sir.
You will be taught a lesson in obedience.
The pit of no return.
This will end your problems. And mine. There, my pretties. Another tasty Urpney. Now then, Sergeant Blob.
Yes, sir.
You are now in charge of Operation Dreamstone. There will be no delays, no excuses. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Oh dear. Poor Blob, thrust to the front of his Dark Master's designs on the Dreamstone. And the same fate is in store for an elite squad of Urpneys who are going to be sent on a dangerous mission in the next hour or so. So I hope you'll stick with us. We've got a team that we've been playing with over the last few weeks on Zoom. And one of the sessions we recorded, and I'm going to break it into little chunks and give you a bit of an introduction to the game in between the chunks, so it won't be constant action. Hopefully it'll give you a bit of an idea what the game looks like in practice, because that's sometimes a little bit hard to tell from an overview or from reading the rulebook. So hopefully it'll give you a good idea of how the game actually works, what it looks like in progress. So the Dreamstone role-playing game is a very, very, very simple game. It's principally designed for one-shots. It's designed for playing through the course of an episode of the Dreamstone. You can run it in campaigns. There's character development within it, but we've tried to keep it fast and we've tried to keep it simple so that it can be as much fun as possible. So the players take the part of Urpney soldiers, forming an elite squad to go to the Land of Dreams or elsewhere, possibly, because not all missions are to the Land of Dreams, to go on missions for Zordrak, the Lord of Nightmares, and to try and achieve their objective. And there will be various obstacles along the way.
Time for the obligatory intro speech then, to go once again beneath the red planet of doom, beneath the black mountain of Viltheed, the Land of Nightmares, where the loathsome Zordrak, Lord of Nightmares, rules. But of course, he is not alone. He is surrounded, protected and served by his tough, highly trained and dedicated troops, the Urpneys. And it is, of course, these Urpneys that we start proceedings with.
Now, as a briefing, all the players will get given a copy of the Urpney Army Handbook, which is Sergeant Blob's introduction to life in the Urpney Army, and it will take you through a bit of background on life in the barracks, a bit of background on the forces that you are set against in the Land of Dreams. Now, bear in mind that the way that the Urpneys view the forces that they're up against is not necessarily the way that things are. So you might get a slightly different picture if you look at the Urpney Army Handbook and you look at the Dreammakers rulebook. So let's have a look at our team. We've got Dan and Harry and myself and Chris have all rolled up Urpney characters from the Urpney Army Handbook. So if you've got a definite idea of what you want in your character, you can build on from scratch. Or if you like, there's a random Urpney generator that will generate your character for you. Your character consists of 4 stats. You've got your muscle, as in how tough and strong you are. Your poise, how fast, nimble, elegant, acrobatic you are. Your bravery, how brave you are, I guess, yeah. How resistant to panicking you are. and your wits, how clever, cunning, intelligent you are. Now, being Urpneys, none of these are going to be particularly high. You are likely to have one that's a strength, one that's a weakness, and the other two are going to be average for Urpneys, which is still below average. But the way that these stats work is that they work on dice. So each of your stats will have a symbol. It will have a red triangle for a 4-sided dice. It will have a blue square for a 6-sided dice. It will have a yellow diamond for an 8-sided dice. On a very, very rare occasion for an Urpney, it will have a green circle, and that's a 10-sided dice. You've also got 2 numbers. You've got a panic tolerance and a dedication. And panic tolerance is how much panic you can take before you abandon your mission and become a gibbering wreck. And dedication is how dedicated you are to the cause. And when you set up, you can balance these between the two. So you get 10 points to split between your panic and your dedication. If you're playing in a campaign setting, you can, if you want to, after every mission, increase your panic tolerance by 1. So the more missions you go on, the more resilient you are to totally freaking out about all the strange circumstances that are going on. But every time you do that, you have to lower your dedication by 1. So the more immune to panic you become, the less you actually care about the mission that you're going on.
Yeah, I managed to roll a D8 for poise, a D4 for muscle, and then wits and bravery are both D6s. Panic tolerance of 5, dedication of 5, like sport, birds give him the creeps, and I've got a pair of field glasses.
The handbook has a random Urpney name generator, because we know that names of characters are particularly important. And it's also got a generator for likes and dislikes. Now, this is something that you can choose for yourself, or it's something that you can roll up randomly, and that will play a role in the game. So if you do something which reflects your likes, or you do something that reflects your dislikes, then the DM will reward you for characterful play. There's also a chart of stuff, kit that you would take with you. So before the mission starts, everyone rolls on the kit tables, and that gives you 1 item of kit that you can take with you, which may be useful or it may not on your journey. Every elite squad needs a commanding officer. That's the lead player, the player who is in charge of making decisions if the rest of the players can't come to a consensus. So you need to pick a commanding officer.
Oh, I never asked who is the...
Who's our commanding officer?
Not me. Not me.
No. Zoom, you are then.
What?
Last to step back.
No, dude. Pick me, pick me. Can I be in charge? Oh, can I?
This is the elite squad that is going to bring back the Dreamstone.
I've handpicked the best and the brightest, sir.
And do they understand what will happen if they fail?
Sir, they will be turned into stone.
And then?
Their pitiful carcasses will be crushed into gravel, sir.
And then?
Say no more, sir.
We will not fail, sir.
See that you don't.
George is our DM. That's Dreammaker in this game, the person who's running the adventure. And then the mission will start with a briefing. So the DM, the Dreammaker, will have put together a framework for the episode. If you want, there's an episode generator in the rulebook. We've tried to make a lot of the rulebook a kit for DMs. So you've got a mission generator. You've got circumstances generators. If you are stuck for something to happen in a particular instant, there's that. It'll take you through doing things like planning lucky breaks for the characters. Using all of this, the DM will have put together an adventure, and in form either as Zordrak, mind your throats, difficult voice to do, or as Urpgor, also difficult voice to do but fun to try. Brief the team on what they're trying to achieve.
Pay attention, men!
You're probably wondering why I've called you here into the very bowels of Vilseed. Not really.
No, we're not.
I have called you here so that I might brief you on Operation Dreamstone. You all know what this is? It's a hamburger.
It's a football.
Does it rhyme with nose?
No. It's the world as we know it. This here is the land of nightmares, what we are standing on at this moment in time. This here is the so-called land of dreams, for what we are heading. And this fluffy bit here is what is known as your impenetrable mist of limbo.
Well, luckily, Urpgore's apparently got special equipment to help you.
Oh, good. That fills me full of confidence.
His inventions have always worked out so well for us before.
Of course, the Urpneys will not be sent on their mission without some brand new experimental equipment to test from the laboratories of Urpcore. DM, feel free to invent whatever you like. There's a list of inventions from the episodes in the rulebook. There's also an Urpcore Invention Generator, so if you want, you can roll completely from scratch, and it will give you some strange concoction based on the kind of thing that it does, whether it's self-propelled or whether it's carried, what it's fueled by, whether it travels in the land or sea or sky, whether it's shaped like Urpcore or Zordrak or something from nature, or it will give you all of these features. In this instance, the team are given two pieces of equipment. They're sent off in a submarine in the shape of a shark, and they're sent off carrying a particular flute, which is tuned to affect the ears of a certain dogfish to incapacitate him and bring him back to Viltheed. So that's their mission. They're setting off to capture Albert with a musical flute and a submarine.
Well, assuming there is no alternative plan, I imagine you're heading to Urpgore's laboratory.
Unfortunately.
I would imagine so.
We've never had any plan. I don't see any reason to suppose we have a plan this time.
I don't know what I was even thinking of asking, to be honest with you.
Games of the RPG typically take about 90 minutes, hour to 2 hours. It's a pretty fast-moving game.
We'll just keep a teensy-weensy eye on the time.
Now, the central mechanic of the system is tests. So remember those stats that you've got: muscle, wit, poise, bravery, and the dice indicators. Anytime you're asked to test on one of those stats, you roll one of those dice, and you're trying to get a target number. Now, the target number starts off at 4, but it may go up. In very rare circumstances, it may go down, and that's based on panic tolerance and how easy the action that you're trying to achieve is. So the DM will know, and probably won't let the players know unless they feel like it's in the players' interest to know what the target number is. So players just have to roll and cross their fingers that the result that they get is high enough.
Is anyone holding his ladder?
No.
I'm pretty sure that's against health and safety regulations.
That is true. He is currently breaking our HSE guideline.
I should absolutely go up to the ladder and grab it suddenly.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. That sounds like you would have to make some kind of check to make sure that you grabbed it correctly.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, according to guidelines.
Hold it away enthusiasm.
What would you like me to roll?
Is it muscle or poise? What am I feeling like?
It depends whether you're trying to shove it or do something more useful with it, I guess.
Well, obviously, I'm trying to...
I'll say poise. I'll say poise.
Okay. Well, that's a good roll for me. No, it isn't. That's a 1.
Yeah.
Hey!
Great! It's a fantastic start to proceedings. So, Scrudge, do you have any suggestions for how opening ceremonies might go badly?
But it's quite wet around the area due to all of the pool and that kind of thing. So in my enthusiasm to maintain Urpcore health and safety, I launch myself at the ladder skid on a puddle and just go flying straight into it, which knocks the ladder and Gore straight into the water.
Excellent.
After which the ladder lands on Gore.
That seems fair. He should have a comedy bump should be on his head as he pulls himself out of the water. What? This absolute ridiculous nonsense is this?
Health and safety?
If we get through the impenetrable mist alive, danger will lurk everywhere. Death will be our constant companion. There will be no turning back. So, if anybody wants to leave, do it now. Oh, where is everybody?
And this is where those character traits, those likes and dislikes, come into play. So if your character, like in this case, Harry's character Zoom is terrified of confined spaces. So going into a submarine is difficult for him. So the squad will have to come up with a solution that lets him go into the submarine. Otherwise, the panic level is just going to go up and up and up and up and up.
So
how could it possibly go wrong?
We press one button.
Is now a good time to mention? Is now a good time to mention that I don't really like small spaces? You could ride the outside then, sir. Can I sit on the roof?
Send me closer. I want to hit it with my sword.
Alternatively, we could just blindfold you and not tell you you're in a small space. Excellent idea.
Very good idea. Do you have a blindfold?
I can make one. Old pair of underpants here.
Nice.
I was looking for them.
Now, naturally, with quite low stats, the Urpneys are going to fail quite a lot of the time. And this can be a little bit irritating. So there are mechanics to help the squad out. They can work together is one of them. Now, cooperating is not a natural Urpney trait. So if you want to cooperate, you have to spend 1 point of dedication. That's the first thing that you can do with your dedication. You can spend it to cooperate with another Urpney. When you do that, you both roll your dice. And you add the results together, and that gives you your result.
The automatic controls have got the thing slowly descending, and now the water from Urpgore's laboratory is pouring into the confined submarine space.
Confined?
So,
I'm gonna try and pull the hatch closed.
Did you say confined space?
No, it's wide open space.
Wide open space.
It'll be hours and hours and hours before we drown.
You are going to have to, someone's going to have to try and pull the door that water is flowing in at great speed.
Oh, I'm good at this.
Okay, you do it.
Really? That's
I can give you a hand. I will help you.
How does helping us work again?
I spend a point of dedication.
Yep.
To do something.
This is me bobbing up and down in the water.
And then we both roll and add the results together.
Cool.
So, what are we rolling? What are we rolling?
Muscle.
Muscle.
Well, I'm rolling D8. Muscle.
Oh, my muscle's probably not
sorry.
going to help you very much. Oh, 3. That's okay.
Okay, so that's going to be a success then. However, I think from having to go right in the face of water pouring at you, that's probably a panic test. So it's probably a bravery.
Yep, okay. Which is also a D8, which is nice. What's this? Mysterious competence?
Yeah. Where did that come from?
Well, it quickly went away. 3.
Okay, so water is flying in your face. Knot is holding you by the ankles in position so you're not knocked down by the force of the water. You close the hatch now leaving you guys ankle deep in stagnant cave system, filthied water.
Oh, it's like home.
Now, I mentioned the panic level earlier. The panic level is important for two reasons. The first reason is that that's the main determiner of what the successful result on a dice roll is. The higher the panic level, the higher the more the Urpneys are panicking, the harder it is for them to succeed. And the second thing is that if the current panic level is above your panic tolerance, anytime you fail a test, that's a blunder. Now, we saw a blunder a little bit earlier. A blunder is any roll of a 1 normally. But if the current panic level is above your panic tolerance, a blunder is any failed roll. And when you blunder, you have to explain to the rest of the team how the action that you've just attempted has negatively impacted their situation.
Any questions so far?
The panic level will rise or fall at the DM's discretion, but one of the ways that it normally rises is if one of the team fails a panic test. And a panic test is the same as any other test. It's just a bravery test, except that you can't cooperate on a panic test. There are a few other things you can't do on a panic test. And if you fail that, it raises the panic level by 1.
And I just failed a panic test because somebody suggested there'd been an earthquake.
Going swimmingly.
So now I'm running around screaming with pants on my head.
Don't worry, you'll run into something soon enough and knock himself out.
Yeah, to be fair, Jim, you're not going to have far to run, which is unfortunately just going to make you more unhappy when you realise how small a space you're in.
I just got this great image of, him going, ah! Running as fast as he can, just straight into a wall.
But this is kind of curved, right? So surely he'd just keep running round and round and round and round the inside of the submarine.
Like a motorcycle on the wall of death or whatever it is.
He's going for miles and miles and miles.
Jim, why don't you give us a poise test?
Oh, I'm going to pass this. I've got a D10 for this. And I have rolled a 9.
Oh.
Triumph.
In which case, I'm thinking, yeah, you do Wall of Death. You run so quickly. You are 360-degree around the roof, and you keep running unaware that you're going in a circle. As far as you're concerned, you're just continually running deeper and deeper into the large space that you're in.
I keep running through puddles, which is very strange. There's a lot of puddles in this large space.
Very regularly spaced puddles.
Very regularly spaced puddles.
Wet, then dry, and surprisingly equidistant nature.
Now, the opposite of a fumble is a triumph. And a triumph is a natural roll of 8 or more. So obviously you can only roll a triumph on a D8 or a D10. And it's unlikely, although in this case Zoom does actually have a D10 for his poise, hence Zoom. But in most cases you're unlikely to have more than one stat which is capable of having a triumph in it. But if you roll a triumph, then the main character, so the person who last played to character to the DM's satisfaction and took the main character token, gets to decide what positive effect the action has had on the team.
Doof.
I can't imagine any damage has been sustained to the big. Can all give me a poise test?
Well.
Yes, I'm good at this, he says, rolling
7.
Oh, 8!
Yep.
What did you get, Chris?
Oh, balancing out then.
7, 6, 8, and 1. Okay, so not slowing down. It's continuing at full pelt into the coastline. Presumably this is noticed by Knock the front. You can tell how close we're against the rocks. So perhaps some of you brace yourselves. Perhaps some of you brace yourselves. Perhaps some of you are running so fast that you don't actually stop, and that's centrifugal force keeps you intact.
And perhaps some of us are completely unaware of the need to brace ourselves.
You might actually, you might be basically at the hatch thinking, I'm going to open this hatch and jump out and land straight away. It's going to be so cool. It'll slow down. I'll just step off. It's going to look amazing.
Yeah, like when you get to the top of an escalator and you think you're going to be really cool by just what I'm going to do.
You attempt to do that, unfortunately. And unfortunately, it does not in any way come to a natural progressive stop. It just goes in at 40 miles an hour into the side of the coastline. At which point, you are sent flying, and land in the top of a 7-foot tall tree.
And actually being a cartoon escapade, death is not a major factor. It's there in the Dreamstone. There's definitely that underlying darkness. Captain Krigg was executed at the very beginning of the Dreamstone, and plenty of people get turned to stone. So there is that element, but it's not something the squad really need to worry about in game. Instead, we've got 4 levels of injury. You can take a prang injury, which is where you get stabbed by a sharp object and it makes you let out a loud yell and go wah, and end up a long way away from the action, having possibly alerted more enemies to your location. There's a biff, which is enough to stun you temporarily. There's a squish, which is where something has landed on you and basically flattened you into your helmet or squashed you as flat as a pancake, and that way you are incapacitated until either the end of the current piece of action or until somebody spends a bit of time rescuing you. And there is a splat, which makes you fall a long way and go poof, or splosh, depending on what you fall into, and that just takes you out of the action for a bit.
Okay, what happened?
So I attempt to grab the field glasses. Unfortunately, that just succeeds in dislodging me from the tree, and I land on all 3 of them. A pine cone probably enters somewhere unmentionable.
That seems fair.
Attempting to throw at me at the time.
I mean, it maybe doesn't matter in context, but I suspect in the game terms that's probably there's a splat, which I am imagining the team ends up flat as a pancake for the end of a scene.
This is all of us just sort of flattened inside our helmets with just the toes, with just the feet poking out.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So action is fairly free-flowing through most of the game, but you will get to circumstances where it's important to break things down. And the first unit that these are broken down into is scenes. So a scene starts when they enter a particular location. The DM will set up the appearance of the scene, show them what's about to happen. This can be quite important for moving the game forwards, because obviously traveling can take quite a long time, especially if there's lots of tests involved. You don't want to bog everything down in every episode with them trying to get to the Land of Dreams. Sometimes you just want them to hop in a whirly-ped, get off at the other side, and so you can cut scene. You can say, okay, right, you make the journey successfully, here you are, next scene.
We storm the castle and go straight to the cellar where we steal the Dreamstone. Sarge, it's upside down. Right. We go straight to the tower where we steal the Dreamstone. Volunteers Frizz and Nug proceed immediately towards objective, to wit, them bushes, indicating your arrival by blowing a whistle.
Fuck, if you're trying to remember the way from here, that's going to the Dream Maker, that's going to be a wit test.
This is going to go well. Oh, I can use dedication.
You can use dedication.
I will use a point of dedication. It's a 4. Could have been worse.
That'll do, Peg. That'll do.
Now I mentioned dedication earlier, and we've already seen one of the instances where that can be used. The other things that you can do with dedication are you can use it to take extra equipment at the beginning of your mission, and you can use it to find equipment halfway through a mission. You can use it to inspire other Urpneys to be more dedicated to their cause, and you can use it to boost your dice that you're using for your roll. So you can decide that what you're doing is for the glory of Viltheed, and that will let you roll 1 dice higher than you would normally be able to roll. Now I mentioned dedication earlier, and we've already seen one of the instances where that can be used. The other things that you can do with dedication are you can use it to take extra equipment at the beginning of your mission, and you can use it to find equipment halfway through a mission. You can use it to inspire other Urpneys to be more dedicated to their cause, and you can use it to boost your dice that you're using for your roll. So you can decide that what you're doing is for the glory of Viltheed, and that will let you roll 1 dice higher than you would normally be able to roll.
We could just
okay. Let's see these. Let's see this amazing Urpney disguise as a cow take place. Is that poise? Is that wit? That's not. I don't know. The rules don't mention.
I don't think there's much wit involved.
Yourself as livestock. It's a.
I think we can rule out wits.
Is it a bravery test just for the sheer
audacity of it? Yeah.
I suppose there is a certain amount of just trying to like sit it out. Yeah, I suppose bravery for just like charisma almost.
How well we sell the cow image.
I got 8.
Ooh.
What am I rolling? What are we rolling? Bravery.
Yeah.
Bravery.
3.
Ooh. Oh wait! Pass me the flute. Pass me the flute.
Yeah.
No. What's your amazing contribution to this?
Me? I'm being the others.
I just passed Scrooge the flute.
I'm blowing into the flute.
So the 4 of you attempt to form a convincing cow, despite the fact that you are all in metal armour, have pick-spotted noses.
It's a cow with
playing
a
the
leg.
flute. Yeah,
It's a
There is a
flute
brief
cow.
pause. The brief pause, and Rufus says, "I don't think that cow is going to hit it. I think the humane thing to do would be to put it down." Amberley will shout, "Urpneys! There's Urpneys in the town!"
No, there isn't.
Peggy!
I'm not an Urpney, I'm an udder!
Moo.
The next element is frames. So this is only really important if you get into an encounter with newts, with what's, with something else, and you need to say, this person's doing something, then this person's doing something, then this person's doing something. So a frame is a period of a few seconds in which you can do 2 actions, typically. If either of those actions is a test and you fail it, that's the end of your frame. You're done until the next frame. And the frames start off with the players. They can pick one of them to go, and then the DM will pick an NPC to go, and then the players will pick another player, and so on and so forth until everyone has done what they want. If you have more players than there are characters, or you have more characters than there are players, whichever side has the fewest can choose to miss a turn to see what the others do, and then jump in.
Okay, so it sounds like the first person in your team that's moving is Geoff, who is absolutely bolting back to the submarine.
Not back to the submarine, just down one of the nearby streets away from the newts.
Alright, that's going to be a muscles test.
A muscles test?
Well, muscles, I suppose it's poise to hide. It's muscles for running, the poise for hide, right?
Would you want me to make a muscle test? 2.
2, okay. So you attempt to retreat back course, but it's been a bit of a busy day. You know, there's been falling and throwing and drowning and blowing, and you've not quite got the energy reserve that I had in mind. You'll kind of throw yourself down one of the corridors or the alleyways. You will be chased by the male Nook who is going to attempt to rugby tackle you. That's a knuckles test, I'm afraid.
He's making a muscles test, or an opposed muscles test.
Yeah. He hasn't done very good, though. He's got a 3.
I rolled a 4. I'm too strong for him.
There we go. You might not be running away full pelt, but you're still quite soggy from being in the Triplicate submarine. So you're like, it's like trying to grab an oiled pig. It's not happening. Back to the Urpneys. Who'd like to act now?
I'll go. I still haven't lost faith in the flute.
What's that?
Oh, great.
I'm determined that, you know, maybe something has slipped, and just if I blow harder into the flute, it'll work.
Okay, that's a great plan. That's a great plan. You're just going to blow with all your might. Okay, the problem is you're going to have to rush finding the correct hole that you're looking for on the flute, the right. So that's going to be a wit test to find that in time. Because in theory, it frames only like a couple of seconds, right?
Yep. Yeah. I'm just going to go straight for a hole. And I've actually got a 4.
That's great. I mean, the panic level's 5, so you failed. But that's still great. You should feel good about yourself.
I absolutely should. I
you
haven't
find one of the holes. You blow with maximum force. And then, once again, the flute goes flying out of your hands. It arcs across the street and goes into like a fruit seller's market stand, splatting into a pile of tomatoes.
Oops.
Bridge, why are you in charge of the flute again?
I don't know. I get it back. Hi. Join that.
Amberley is going to attempt to use the bandages that she was carrying to sort of improvise tying somebody up. Ruby's trying to make like a little noose kind of almost in it and tie somebody up. For the sake of argument, let's say fuck the talkative others is going to be the target. So, again, would I call this muscles or poise? Probably more muscles because she's doing it. You'll be resisting with your physical strength, right?
Yes, I will definitely be resisting.
So, we'll go with it. We'll go with an opposed muscles test then.
8.
Oh.
Okay, you get substantially better than her. She'll run around you with the bandages, and she'll try and pull, and you'll basically get like a tug of war between her, but you're stronger than her. She will pull, and the bandages will tear. You still have things tied around you, but you're not in any immediate problem. That leaves Furk and Zoom to act. Now, I should stress, the panic level is currently 5, so not going to be very happy.
Uh-oh.
I think the rest of you are currently okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
So, yeah, Furk and Zoom still have to act.
Speaking of Zoom, we seem to have lost him.
I don't, yeah.
So we're at the point now where the panic level is starting to cause problems for the team. This is why we recommend that your panic level is no lower than 5. The higher you get your panic level, the safer that you will be, but you'll find that other members of the squad around you are panicking and falling apart. So at this point, most of the squad are panicking. So everything that they're doing is causing blunders.
Yeah.
We're deep in enemy territory. They've spotted us, and our super effective piece of equipment is covered in salsa.
Yeah.
What's the next stage, team? We're all free to act again.
I'm still running. I'm clearly panicking at this point because the panic level is above my panic tolerance.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to try and run away from this nuke that's trying to rugby tackle me to the ground. I'm going to dodge away to my left in the hope that if I pick an alleyway, it'll bring me back to the main marketplace and I can meet up with the others.
Okay, I think then the issue you're going to have is a wits test, because it's about not getting lost in an unfamiliar city. If you kind of turn left, turn right, turn left, turn left, turn left, I should be back where I started, kind of thing.
Okay. Oh, that is a 2.
Okay.
So that's a fumble because I'm panicking.
Have you possibly ran into something unhelpful, like, I don't know, the town hall or something?
Well, I was thinking that I've managed to turn back to the marketplace, but have come out just beside the barrow that the flute is currently sort of impaled in the mess of tomatoes, and have knocked the barrow flying, getting tangled in the wreckage, and all of the tomatoes are now rolling down the marketplace towards Firk and Scridge.
So the terrain is now absolutely covered in mangled produce.
Rolling, bouncing produce all over the marketplace, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
Yeah,
anyway, bravery. I got a 4 there.
As did I.
That's the fail. I'm going to bump the panic level up to 6, which is going to make
now I'm panicking. Now we're panicking.
More than happy. And I think Firk's probably not doing that great either, right?
My panic tolerance is 6.
So you're right on the threshold. Okay, so Scridge and Knopf are probably looking to make a quick withdrawal right now.
Absolutely.
Rufus is going to try and deal with the flute-armed Urpney by grabbing the nearest object and throwing them. But in this case, they're going to be the various now squished pieces of fruit. So Firk is going to be in a poise test to avoid taking a courgette to the puffs.
But you're not panicking, so it's not like a fumble.
I took a courgette to the knee.
I mean, you're actually okay for dodging the courgette. It's the follow-up avocado that deals the fatal blow. you are being.
I never liked avocado.
Oh, Harry's here.
And really, all they've got left to do is to try and get away as safely as they possibly can.
Amberley is going to take her turn to shout for help. Amberley has made a bellow, attracting more attention. The doors and the windows and stuff are opening, and the nooks are seeing what's happening outside.
Uh-oh.
I think Zoom and Firk might have to make a bravery test at this point.
6.
I may need those underpants back.
They're mine!
That's going to put the panic up to 7, which I think means Burke is going to decide discretion is the better part of valor.
Yep, I'm off.
Great.
Hey!
Zoom, unfortunately, that means that Burke is running away with the flute. Is this a mission that Zoom can salvage by himself? Or are we maybe going to have to rejoin the rest of the team?
Did I not just run away by failing my bravery test?
When you fail the bravery test, the panic level goes up, but because your panic level is higher than everyone else, so maybe you are making a lot of noise about, they're coming everywhere, guys. They're coming everywhere. Brace yourselves. We shall fight them together, guys.
Do I have the flute to give one last final blow for?
That's me. That's me as I'm running past saying, "Get to the sub! Do it now!"
Okay. I turn and run to the sub.
All right. So everybody who's running, give me a poise test.
6.
7.
7.
Bart?
Yep.
What's the poise test? What'd you get?
3.
3. Okay. In which case, because everyone else is faster, you 3 will arrive back at the submarine first. Are you going to wait for Bart to arrive, or are you going to push the button?
I'm not even aware that he's not with us.
Have we forgotten something? I think we've forgotten something. So I'm not sure what it is.
You're just, the 3 of you are in, mashing the button to return home.
How comfortable is Zoom that he now knows that we're in a tiny, tiny space?
Well, unfortunately, I think realising that probably would up the panic level, which by putting it to 8 means he wants to retreat as well.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to scream the entire way back to the building.
We're just trying to get it over with as fast as possible now and just get home.
Burke, you run over the crest of the hill and run towards the submarine, which mysteriously doesn't seem to be getting any closer as you're running towards it. It's almost like you're moving away at the same speed you're running.
Well, I'm going to keep running.
It could be shrinking.
It could be shrinking. Maybe you could toot to let them know you're coming.
I'll give it a try. What do I need to toot? I'm just picking it. It doesn't matter what hole. I don't care what hole. I'm just blowing.
If the only concern, then it's muscles.
6.
In that case, you may make a very, very deep bellow. Guys, I don't want to alarm you in the submarine, but there's a very deep bellow outside.
It's a cow!
They're sending their war cows after you.
And then, of course, the commanding officer has the unenviable job of trying to explain to Zordrak exactly why they have failed to deliver on their mission. So I think in this case, punishment rather than reward is probably going to be the order of the day. And I will leave you with thoughts of what that might be.
I've just realised what we've forgotten. We forgot the flute. That was going to kill us.
There's me on the beach, sunk to my knees, going, "No!"
It was Filthy all along. You blew it up. You get on the submarine team and you sail back.
Damn you all.
Great speeds. And you head towards Bilfeeds at great speeds. But don't worry,
The submarine's going to slow down any minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
On its automatic course.
Well, we've got to press the other button.
It seems something is wrong with the brakes. So you head towards Filthy, towards Urpgore's lair at great speeds. And Urpgore will be there going, oh, it's coming. I'll be able to see them. Oh, I'm sure that's going to slow down. Any. He dives out the way as your submarine careens through the lab, through the door, through the corridors, and grinds to a halt. Through the portholes, you can only see 2 reptilian feet at the end of a clone that you've landed in front of. There is on the hatch a very dainty.